close, I'd like to add one last segment, and it's an open invitation to Matthew McConaughey, which I wrote at the end of this. Actually, show is based on an article I wrote several months ago. And I wrote a kind of an open letter to him, and I think I'll do much better to read it. So let me just read it for you right now, and then that'll be it. It says, "Dear Matthew, only you can know fully, but from where I can see, I suspect that you're in your own sweet spot much more often than you think. And to the extent that you're not in it, I'm going to suggest that this is in most cases due to the contradictions inherent in your own definition of it. Primarily to the extent that it holds that the purpose of your own actions ought to be for the benefit of others if they are to have moral worth. I know this because I spent many years living under the same explicit moral code as most people, the one I was brought up on and which dominates our culture. It's the code I've discussed at length above, the one that emphasizes service and sacrifice to others as one's highest moral duty. Implicitly or by common sense, I knew, like many people, that there was some place in a good life for self-improvement, self-development, self-mastery, self-actualization, self-esteem, etc. And I had enjoyed a mostly happy life for many years as I experienced personal triumph, success, love, growth, etc. But it was chronically mingled with a sense of deep-rooted guilt, which could intensify at various periods, but which was nonetheless numbingly ever present. Since discovering Ayn Rand at 24, however, that guilt has wilted. I now only feel guilty when I disappoint myself or those I love. It is when I betray commitments I have made to myself or to them, whether explicitly or implicitly, but not to random others at large, and for debts which I have not agreed to take on and that I don't know the nature of. I live a wholly selfish, flourishing life of non-contradictory joy, and I'm proud to say so. And more, I have learned that the more I focus on bettering myself, the more I am of use to others than if I were focused primarily on their well-being anyway. Again, that's not that it's my purpose in life, I hope that I've made that clear by now, but there it is. I've also seen that the people who have done and do the most for me are those who have made the most of their own lives. Larry working on his show benefits others. Cooper's dream, Steve Jobs' vision, Ayn Rand's books. Their purpose nor focus was not others. By stark contrast, they were intensely set upon their own goals. But look at the inestimable value added to others' lives. And this is true of every lesser achievement, whatever the scale. Your own movies, your lifestyle, your fun-loving attitude. From what I'd gathered from interviews, and such little an outsider can glean, people respect and want to be around you not because you give up your values for others, but because you seem to be a model of personal, may I say here, selfish, success and joy. More than just the material goods that intimately passionate focus and efforts produce in the world, iPhones, inspiring novels, and life-changing philosophies improve lives on Earth, the most valuable thing a rationally selfish person can offer others is a model of what living a moral life means and of what the reward looks like. A quote from The Fountainhead here now, Ayn Rand's novel The Fountainhead. Quote, "Don't help me or serve me, but let me see it once, because I need it. Don't work for my happiness, my brothers. Show me yours. Show me that it is possible. Show me your achievement, and the knowledge will give me courage for mine." And talking back to Matthew now, your sweet spot, properly defined, is virtuous, but it isn't for Jesus Christ or others like him, and I hope you don't aspire to his fate. In a proper morality, sainthood doesn't cost us our lives and happiness by sacrificing values, but is achieved to the extent we gain values toward furthering our lives and attaining our own happiness. Such people as described above are closer to the saints we should aspire to be, each of us to the best of our own abilities. And then I say in a kind of a half-joking way, half-joking, that I see you haven't subscribed to this blog, but if you happen to come across this article, blah, blah, I would like to invite you to talk to me. And I'll say the same thing here in a half-joking way, that if anybody happens to know Matthew McConaughey, please refer him to this episode of this podcast, and I would love to talk to him about all this stuff. And then, of course, I refer him to, and I refer you guys to, The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, and of course, for a more didactic discussion, you can read The Virtuous Selfishness and other nonfiction. And I just tell you, you'll probably get in there and you'll find yourself reading forever. And we're back to the conclusion of the letter. I understand that celebrities are regular people with extraordinary lives and, like most regular good people, struggle with the same lack of moral clarity as described above. Only celebrities are much more out there and subject to public moral judgment. Add to this that their careers are very tied to popular opinion, and they tend to play safe toward a culture's predominant morality, regardless of any questions they may sense. But being idolized as they are, people look to them for examples. And to the extent they let the status quo go unchallenged in their own minds, they help reinforce the predominant trends of the culture. So it's very refreshing when someone like you is confident enough to even attempt to articulate a controversial idea as you have. What I hope you realize is that because your benevolent character and goodwill is well established, you have enough clout to say such things and make people pause a moment to consider that there might be something more in them than what their immediate emotional reaction tells them. Emotions are simply automatic reflections of fixed ideas and will reflect differently as ideas are changed. But they must be challenged to be changed. Empowered with your right ideas more clearly conceived, I hope you can be an even better champion for the virtue of selfishness. And I hope more celebrities would be so brave to, instead of appeasing our musty, reeking, centuries-old, self-deprecating morality, proclaim proudly and righteously that they too like to personally try and find a selfish reason why I want to do everything. It'd be a lot cooler if they did.
Hey, hop in, man.
Hey, man, whose car?
You know Wooderson?
Oh.
How's it going, man?
Hey. Pretty good. How's it going with you?
Say, man, you got an ego?
No, not on me, man.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Mr. Brightside, your time out to refresh, refuel, and refocus your mind and energy toward building an optimistic framework for flourishing. Life is good. It's up to you to choose the bright side.